Hi, Jacob, back here in Madrid, Spain, and I want to give you an update on Julie. This video will be a little bit longer than my normal videos because we just have a little bit more news. So I want to give you the latest prognosis of the cancer situation and basically what we as a family and as a ministry have decided to do. Well, we went to the doctor now for the third time after the third scan, and Julie was diagnosed with cancer back in November, cervical cancer. She had a tumor removed. She had some intense radiation and chemo, hopefully to get everything burned and poisoned out so that this wouldn't reproduce. And somehow some of these fellows must have went into hiding, because even after all her treatments, the cancer has metastasized in the lungs and on the liver, and she's got multiple tumors on lungs, both lungs, and kind of a large one there on her liver. And so we went into the doctor the other day and said, okay, we just kind of said, hey, shoot straight with us here. We need to have some straight answers. And he said, well, the prognosis isn't good. He says, I'd like to give her just some more chemo. And I said, well, why would you give her chemo if the prognosis isn't good? He says, well, at least we can try to slow it down. I said, so at this point you can't eradicate the cancer, you can't get the cancer out. He says, at this point it's too late. It's a stage 4, and we're not able to, not with surgery or not with any sort of medicine, be able to get rid of the cancer. The only thing we can do is slow it down, give her a little bit more time, kind of thing. I said, so what you're saying is we need a miracle? And he said, yeah. He says, but why don't you guys work on getting the miracle, and I'll work on trying to slow it down a little bit and giving you a little bit more time. So it was a sobering day. But when he said that, something just interesting kind of happened in my heart, and that was a rush of relief came into my heart, and then expectancy. Relief in that it was kind of like, thank you, Jesus, that finally all other crutches of hope have been kicked out from underneath us. Now we can't trust in anything but you. It's just like, on Christ the solid rock I stand. I've got no other hope. Everything else is sinking sand. So it's you 100%. And there was expectancy in my heart, because I felt like the Israelites between the Red Sea and the Egyptians coming up behind them. And it's like, God, either you show up or we're dead. Or Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, God, either you show up or we're gone. Or Daniel in the lion's den, or Gideon, and the list goes on of biblical examples of when our only hope for life and healing is in God. So that's good. Prognosis is bad. Hope is good because we have a God that can do something. And you know, Monday, 2 days before the prognosis, I was in our prayer room here and on the red box, and God gave me some assurance. And this is what he said to me. He said, cancer cannot take Julie's life. Chemo can't take Julie's life. The devil can't take Julie's life. She can't go before her time, because Julie is my daughter. She's in my hands. She's exclusively 100% her life in my hands. And it was just like I sighed in a relief and just say, Jesus, she is exclusively 100% in your hands. And then something curious happened right after that. She had her first big treatment of chemo and such, but we met that evening with our leaders. And I saw something happen. And because we're in this situation where, well, it's God or God. Our leaders got together, some 20 of us got together, we gave the prognosis, and I gave my illustration of, hey, we're standing before the Red Sea, so let's go after God. And it was as though I felt like that each one of our leaders was walking into the armory of God, and that God was looking at each one and handing them a spiritual weapon, saying, okay, now, if we're going to get Julie out of this, which I believe God is saying, I'm wanting to do this, but you're going to have to fight for it. Now, it's all paid for on the cross. The battle's won. The healing's been, purchased already. But there's some battles that, even though it's all purchased, we have to go after it. And that's what we're doing in Port to the Soul with, asking God for spiritual revival and awakening. We still have to go after it. And so, all that said, one girl said, I believe that we need to We need to order the Red Sea to open. And I felt like God was giving her a weapon, saying, yes, you order. Another one said, we've got to give thanks. Let's give thanks as though it's... I said, yes, you give thanks. Another one said, we need to call out to God. I said, yes, you call out to God. Another one said, we need to pray and fast. I said, yes, pray and fast. No, we need to worship. I go, yes, you worship. And it was like all these weapons, spiritual, because our warfare isn't against the flesh and blood, right? It's not even against cancer. So if we now go into the armory of God and say, God, what weapon can you give me so that I can fight for Julie's life? He'll give you one. And so this is my challenge to you, and I want you to join us also in that you would go, those of you that love Julie and want to fight for her, why don't you go into the armory of God in that spiritual realm and in your prayer closet and say, God, you don't have to be one of those people back home or far away outside of Madrid that says, I feel so helpless. I wish I could do something. And now I'm saying you don't have to feel helpless and you can do something. So go into that spiritual armory and say, God, what can I fight with? And there's just a list of spiritual weapons that you're able to grab a hold of, and you're going to be good at one of them, maybe better than somebody else. Not everybody's a great archer, not everybody's a great wielder of the sword, but God has given you something that you can fight in the spiritual realm and for her life. And guess what? I think if we join together as a band of brothers and sisters fighting in the spiritual realm, we're going to see a miracle. So stand with us.